Effective clerk of the city of Lambertville, Borough of Stockton, Township of West Amwell, and advertised in the Hunterdon County Democrat and the French Times. Please stand for the flag salute.
Jennifer Batchelor,
Here.
Martha Dennis,
Here.
Tina Pichetti,
Here.
Brian Keys, Kevin Kowaleski, Aaron O'Leary,
Here.
Michael Strauss,
Here.
Bonnie Todd Marino, and Gallagher.
Here. So our first order of business this evening is that we are going to be recognizing some of our staff members who are highly valued and are retiring. So with that, I'll let Suzo make the presentation.
So I'm going to start out just by saying it's an honor and a privilege to present to the board tonight our class of 2024, 2025. It's a small class this year, only 2 folks. Each of our retirees has demonstrated excellence and an incredible work ethic, dedication, and professionalism during their time in our district. They've done an outstanding job supporting students, staff, parents, and our community. I'd like to introduce 2 of our administrators tonight who are going to say a few special words about each one of our retirees. We're going to start out first with our business administrator, Mr. Harris.
Tonight, I'm here to honor Pete Nemec. Pete Nemec has served West Samuel Elementary School and the South Hunterdon Regional School District for almost 24 years. His dedication and his commitment is seen on a daily basis, and his impact was felt by all of his colleagues and students. One of our CSOs, Steve Bartzak, writes, "I can say every morning he hit the ground running, very regimented, most likely from his time serving in the U.S. Navy. He had a routine in the morning prepping for the school day. Specific tasks at specific times, only to be deviated when something unforeseen came up and he had to divert to some emergency within the building. His knowledge of the West Amwell building was nothing short of amazing. Everything he needed to know to offset any type of crisis or even an emergency, he knew and had a plan. Pete is an employee who will be seriously missed. He leaves a large set of shoes to fill." Principal David Miller tells us, "Pete's attention to detail, knowledge of our building, and hard work ethic have made my time as WAS principal better. Pete's dedication as a firefighter, Navy sailor, and a family man are parallel to his dedication to our school community. Knowing that Pete is the steward of our school building has ensured that we learn in a clean, safe environment. Pete, I'd also like to highlight that your unwavering commitment to creating clean, safe, and welcoming spaces has touched countless lives throughout nearly a quarter century of faithful service. Through changing seasons and generations of students and staff, you have been a constant presence, ensuring that our environment reflects the excellence we aspire to achieve. We extend our deepest gratitude and warmest wishes as you begin this well-deserved next chapter."
And next, our principal of the high school, Jen McKnight.
It is a true honor to stand here today and recognize the retirement of Mr. Tom Bill, our beloved student assistant counselor, whose impact on South Hunterdon has been immeasurable since he first joined us in 2011. Over the years, Mr. Bill has quietly but powerfully guided countless students through some of the most challenging moments, offering not only his professional support, but his unwavering compassion, patience, and care. He has been a steady and calming presence in our school, a trusted adult for students, and a reliable colleague for staff. Beyond the walls of South Mr. Bill has left an incredible legacy in the athletic world, having coached football and lacrosse at Hunterdon Central for over 25 years. His dedication to young people extended far beyond the school day, and his influence has reached generations of athletes who have benefited from his leadership, mentorship, and sportsmanship. Tom is the kind of person who will never seek recognition, but deserves all of it. Kind, generous, and always willing to help. Whether it's listening to a student in need, supporting a colleague, or cheering on our teams from the sidelines. As he enters this well-earned next chapter, we thank Mr. Bill for the profound impact he has made on our school community, and we wish him a retirement filled with the same warmth, purpose, and fulfillment that he brought to his work every day.
Gotta tell one kind of funny story. And it's just that might sound like cliche, but the impact that this school has had in my colleagues and really I've been so blessed with the people that I've been, fortunate enough to work with. And the work hard, be kind, has been such a powerful phrase really in our world here and at home and so much so that when I started here, I guess our son Owen was 8 or 9, something like that. So I guess it was last year when he called his mother and I and said he was getting a tattoo. So we were like, oh, okay, Then he told us and he got a tattoo and he got a band on his arm with the word "work hard, be kind" on his arm. And I just say that in that idea of what this place has represented, and how powerful those words came into, the gift that this school and those words came into our lives and our family and impacted our son in that idea. Far from perfect, but fact that anybody, right, whether it's our child or any other child, has that in their mind at least a little bit of the day is a pretty good thing, pretty powerful thing. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for them again with your bill for everything.
Yeah, so as Lucas is making his way to the podium, we thought, since we get so much incredible support from the LAEF, that it would be awesome to highlight one of the programs that they funded this year, which was Physics Day.
Yes. Physics Day occurred earlier this month. So it's for this trip, our objectives were to collect physics data for for calculations and analysis. We also needed to predict and calculate forces for gravitational force and normal force on a rider at multiple points during a ride. We also critiqued and calculated different efficiencies by analyzing work and power under varying conditions. We used free body diagrams to determine centripetal acceleration and normal force acting on those riders in uniform circular motion, while evaluating energy conservation to estimate speeds and altitude throughout a ride. So during the day, we got to explore many different parts of the park. And while doing that, we got to ride different rides while also collecting information. So as you can see, some of the pictures are my fellow peers collecting information during their day. Another more pictures calculating. We have students really getting into collecting that information while observing from afar to get all the information needed. On this slide, we have different thoughts and quotes from different students who went on this trip. I'll read a few. One stating, I got real life experience and was able to apply what we learned in class into the real world. Thank you so much. Another student quotes, this trip was a lot of fun and very informative, sorry. It taught me a lot about G-force and how physics affects every moment of our lives. And the last one, the trip was spectacular. I got to simultaneously learn about how physics can affect roller coasters and their movement while also riding those said rides. Thank you, LAEF. Lastly, as on behalf of all the students attending Physics Day this year, I would like to give a sincere thanks to the LAEF for funding this trip. Thank you.
Besides thanking the LAF, I also would like to thank Ms. Randazzo, who's in the back there, because she took the time. And Mrs. Kilmer, who's next to her, who took the time to put this together for the application to LAF. And anytime, as you all know, we can take what's learned in the classroom and apply it to everyday life, practicality wise, it goes a long way as far as our students. So thank you to our teachers and the LAF for their continued support, and Lucas for sharing your experience. Appreciate that.
Lucas, you want to continue on with your report?
Of course, I get to speak twice. Okay, to start for our sports, on May 7th, the new softball field opened and had our last home game for our softball field, which resulted in a victory for us. Lucy Reed set a new school record for the 3,200 meter run, setting at a time of 11 minutes and 22 seconds. May 7th was also signing day for the student athletes continuing their sports into college. We have 4 this year: Lena Weiland continuing at Moravian University for field hockey, Nate Lawton continuing at Gwendolyn Mercy for baseball, Julia Stoff continuing at Drew University for field hockey, and Katie Fleming continuing at Moravian University for basketball. Also, for sports this month, I guess technically last month, we have our athletes of the month. We have Ed Cooper for baseball, Noah Legg for golf, Annika Baylog for softball, and Liam Syrak for track. Lastly, for sports, middle school will be finishing. Our middle school finished up their spring sports for last week, and all high school sports will be entering tournaments next week. The last 2 weeks, we had our band and choir concert. Earlier this month, both our spring choir and our spring band concerts and they were both district wide, meaning that grades 5 and 12 all performed. 5 through 12, sorry. Also, our band and choir both performed a joint piece, including the middle school. So both middle school and high school students got to perform alongside each other. Last Friday, our prom occurred. It was a success. My peers and I danced on the dance floor while eating great food. And our prom royalty was also announced. Prom king is Aaron Parisi. Our prom queen is Olivia Nemeth. Our prom princess is Annika Baylog. And our prom prince is Connor Keys. Last week also concluded all our AP testing the end of our AP testing and state testing. And lastly, while we're leading into the last month for all seniors, our senior events, our senior sunset on May 30th, and our senior awards on June 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board members have any questions or?
I do. Did you enjoy prom?
Yes, love that.
What is senior sunset?
Senior sunset, so in the beginning of the year, we have a senior sunrise, so it's the beginning of our year, and at the end, we have our senior sunset. So celebrating our full senior year. So,
At sunset.
yes, at sunset.
Very good. I do want to acknowledge, Luke's been our student representative this year. Our next board meeting will come after graduation. So I don't know that we'll see you at that one, so I'm presuming this will probably be your last night. Like, I think on behalf of the board, I just want to say thank you. I've enjoyed having from you and hearing from all of you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
With that, we'll move on to our VTO and LEF updates. Seconds, I see you there. You want to start? LEF got the flowers this evening, so we thank you for everything you do.
Oh, no, thank you. And I'm really glad to hear and see the Physics Day. We love to see the results of the grants that we approve and what the kids did and how it went over. So, anytime if anybody presents a grant and, has that approved, we'd love to see pictures and hear experiences from the students on how that went. So thank you. So in kind of carrying out with the grants, we just had our May board meeting a couple weeks ago, which will probably be our last for this year. At that meeting, we approved the music technology grant submitted by Mr. Stevens. So we're very excited. That's been a kind of long haul, but we've been able to work through it. And so that was approved at our last board meeting. We also are working through our summer and senior awards. We had 6 applicants for our summer awards. All 6 we are funding and approved for their programs. So we're very excited about that. We actually had 12 applicants for our senior awards, which is a big increase over last year. So also excited about that. So we are working through finalizing our award decisions this week, and then we will present those at the senior awards next week. Let's see, as we wrap up the year, we have had some shifts in our board. So our longtime members, Kim Brzezina, Wendy Kamjafi, and Janelle Garrow are becoming members at large and stepping away from the day-to-day. We very much have valued all their time and dedication over the years that they've given to our organization, and they're sticking around, so they're not going far, but just kind of stepping away from the day-to-day. So myself, Tom Dickey, and Kate Merzinski will remain on the board. We do have openings, so always looking for more board members, volunteers to come help with the board and go, support all these great things that we're doing for the school. It doesn't happen without people, so we're always looking for new members. And then as we kind of go into the summer, we're starting to plan for our next year's activities, our fall fundraisers, and other hopefully engaging activities again to support membership, let people know what we do. I think, there's been a lot of turnover and a lot of new folks. And as we kind of really get into the new middle school and kind of get to all the other parents, we're looking forward to really engaging more in the community. So keep an eye out for more to come. Thanks.
Today we had field day at South Elementary and it was awesome. It was a huge success. Our students and staff had an absolute blast. Sorry, I'm really tired. I want to say a huge thank you to Miss Burkhead. It's not easy putting on something like that. And if you had seen her lists and schedules and maps, I mean, it's for someone who's type A, it kind of blew me away. She was amazing. We also want to thank our amazing parent volunteers who helped serve lunch, they organized games, they handed out snow cones, the Bish family for bringing their snow cone truck, the Lambertville Fire Department for joining us, and they cook lunch for all the staff and students and volunteers, so it's like 420 people. And then ShopRite of Flemington, who donated everything. So it really helps offset costs for us. And field day continues to be one of our favorite days of the year, and we're so grateful to everyone who made it possible. Board elections, the ballots went out last night, if anyone's a PTO member. Everyone's running against themselves, so it's really just a formality, but it is important to at least get 50% membership votes. So then Kids Night Out, our final Kids Night Out of the year is Friday, June 6th. We have the 5th and 6th grade dance coming up. It's next Friday. We've hired a DJ and we've shared a Sign Up Genius and an Amazon wish list to kind of help us offset costs, and that went out to parents today. And then the 6th grade class trip is scheduled for Thursday, June 5th at Dorney Park. And the middle school end of year party is June 13th. And we actually had enough food left over from field day that we froze it all, so I don't have to buy anything for it. So that's really awesome. And that will follow directly after school. So we'll keep the kids from like 1 to 2:30, 3 o'clock. And we will do wiffle ball. I got a really cool inflatable obstacle course, and then the Lambertville Fire Department will barbecue again for us. And then 4th grade promotion is going to take place the morning of June 13th. And they'll also be taking a really fun trip to Delview Arcade that we'll be funding. And then the pre-K field day will be this Friday actually. And we are going to put on a mad science assembly for them too in the afternoon. And then finally, 5th and 6th grade field day is scheduled for Wednesday, the 28th. And again, we got a really cool inflatable. It's like a ninja course kind of thing. You get it. There's a theme. We really like inflatables. So, and then tomorrow we have the walkathon here for grades 5 through 12. It's the first one we've ever done, but it's really cool because we're going to give back 100% of the proceeds to each individual class. So it's really just free money for them. We've hired a DJ. We'll have fun treats and wristbands, and hopefully it's a lot of fun and the kids like it. Yearbooks. They're complete, they're in. We've sold all of them at the elementary level. We have quite a few at the middle school. So if anyone at the middle school has not purchased one or needs one, they can just email the PTO. We have quite a few copies, so. And then Teacher Appreciation Week was May 5th through 9th. I was also testing for NJSLA, which should be criminal, but we were able to put on a really good week for them. We did events throughout all 3 buildings. We did 3 luncheons, 3 snack days, 2 breakfasts, and a coffee bar at the middle school, high school. We hope that the staff truly felt appreciated that week. And then as we wrap up our first semester in enrichment and our first full year as a district PTO, I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who supported us. And thank you to our generous community. Lee and I went over it today and we raised $91,000 this year. Thank you. And we started off with our bank account was like $2,000, and we were legitimately freaking out that we were not going to be able to pay our bills. But we've also reinvested $71,000 back into student programming and back into the district and our kids. So where we started and where we are now, I'm really proud of everyone that I work with. I work with some amazing humans and they give so much of their time. So I'm proud of what everyone's accomplished together. So thank you.
Pardon for your leadership and also. Moving on, correspondence this week is posted on the website. Anyone cares to look at it. The item of business is approval of the minutes from the April meeting. So moved by Michael on the second. A second by Martha. Any discussion on the minutes? If there is no discussion, then we'll vote. With all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? With that brings us to our superintendent update.
So I know you're all sitting there with bated breath, ready for me to do my presentation. But we'll take a 2-minute break, and if you want to go, you're more than welcome to. So 2-minute break, and then I'll go to my update. Okay. Don't be bashful. All right. Figured that out.
It was very, yeah. So it's so interesting. So
Oh, okay.
It's like, I can see.
Can people hear us out there in the audience? The mics seem to be kind of.
You're hearing it? Everybody hears it.
All right, but you. Loud and clear. Okay. No, it's fine. I can hear. I just want to make sure everybody else. Okay, so we will resume our meeting here. Superintendent's up to you.
All right, just a few slides that I had. So I wanted to share this again. I don't know if folks had a chance to see it last week when I sent it out. I posted it on Facebook as well, but just excited as we approach the end of the year with the class of 2025 and all the different schools that are represented here on the right-hand side. And then I also this weekend just kind of went through and all the different majors that folks are going to be working towards when they go to the next level. So this has been a phenomenal class. It's represented extremely well. There's a wide variety of colleges and universities on this list. There's some technical schools. There's obviously our own services. So, kudos to our counseling department for doing a great job and really working with our students. And, the college tours and the college fair that we had here was incredible. How many different folks that we had here. We're doing well. Good stuff to report out. So I'll continue to pump this out, probably be in the newsletter as well, but really excited about where we landed this year. Just a reminder, so our annual climate and culture survey, district-wide, building-wide, is going to be coming out this week. So that comes out via Survey Monkey, and that goes out to all of our parents, all of our students in grades 3 through 12, as well as all of our staff. So it's coming out a little bit earlier than it has in the past. Typically, we don't send it out until June. But we decided, the Board School and Community Committee decided we were going to send it out a little bit sooner. It will be open until June 30th, and I'll continue to remind folks. But this is a great opportunity to provide feedback to what's working well and then areas of focus for us moving forward. We do take a lot of time administratively as well as at the board level looking through this, and it drives a lot of our planning for the upcoming year. So please take a moment and fill it out, because the feedback is extremely valuable for us to get better. So just a few updates. The 5-8 building, some updates on the West End well water situation, and then the building update, and then just something quickly about our Performing Arts Academy. So when you look at our 5-8 building, so this was actually done with the drone that we flew inside the middle school above the gym. Pretty cool. But the gym looks phenomenal. It's complete. The landscaping has started. Our septic installation has started. So originally we didn't plan on our septic equipment arriving until June 1st, but it did arrive over the last 2 weeks. So that started. So that's a good thing. The flooring in the building is complete. Everything is about 99% done, other than a couple little things, which is awesome. Our technology installation started today. So, and that will continue. The window for that is May 19th through May 30th. Furniture installation starts on June 2nd, and the goal for that completion date will be on June 13th. And then FlexiPave installation will be week of May 26th. And some folks are probably like, what the heck is FlexiPave? So what we decided is, I'll just show this quickly. We've been talking about this at the board level. So if you are familiar with the elementary school, you know that in front of the building, we have a unique pervious concrete that we're required to have by DEP, because obviously it's permeable and it allows water to go through drainage. It helps with stormwater runoff. We've had some issues with it where some pieces of it, some sections of it have failed. There's a lot of different factors that go into that. Installation, the climate comes into play with the porous concrete. If it's a bad batch of the material, all those different things. So the good news is, you know, Scazzeri, who's our elementary contractor, has been awesome. They were on site. They're going to be tearing up parts of it and replacing it this summer. So that's been great. But it did bring up the question of the middle school, because in the area that you see in front of you, the yellow, that is all supposed to be the same material. So when we started to see that this material was failing, I got concerned, quite honestly, about putting it at the middle school, because it's a pretty small section at the elementary. At the middle school, 5,000 square feet. So it's a big area. And again, it's required by the DEP. So I started to take a look at some different options. What is something that could meet the DEP requirements, but maybe is a little bit different from the pervious concrete? And I came across a product called FlexiPave, which is kind of unique. It's fairly new. So what I wound up doing is, and the board has seen this already, but I wound up taking a trip to New Brunswick. Right now has a major, if you're familiar with New Brunswick, right in the middle, they got a major area where they're creating a park and an amphitheater right in the middle of New Brunswick. And they're using this product in huge areas for sidewalk areas and some other things. So I decided to take a trip about 3 weeks ago and spend about an hour and a half with the contractor just to see it in action, to see whether or not it was viable. And I did just record, I'll just share quickly, a short little video so you can kind of see what it's all about. But it's unique, so you can see, like, this is kind of like a little walkway area. And it's a combination of recycled tires and some other materials. It's all permeable. And you can see in the background, this big huge circle here, that's all this material is going to be going in there as well in this project. So the nice thing about this material is that A, you can shovel it, B, you can plow it, and C, you can put salt on it if you need to when there's ice. None of those things we can do with the material down at the elementary school, which is called some challenges. So the board has made a decision, it's actually on our agenda tonight, that we will be moving forward with the flexi pave. So there's only 2 contractors right now in the state of New Jersey that are actually licensed to use the product. The one you just saw there is the one we're going to be using. They'll be mobilizing on site week of May 26th. It'll probably take them about a week or so, and that's the material that you'll see in front of the building, and obviously it meets the DEP requirements for being vertical. And obviously, anything we can do to help stormwater runoff, we want to do. So I just wanted to share that as an update. So a lot's happening with the 5-8. We're really excited. We talked a little bit in school and community about a tentative ribbon cutting, maybe the first week in August. We'll get more information out. I just want to see how the septic installation goes, but we're really getting close into the home stretch. And then I wanted to provide an update on the West Amwell water update. And there's a lot of information I know on a slide, but again, as I always do, I'll be sending this out tomorrow morning, but I'll just read it for you all. And it's from the licensed site remediation professional, or the LSRP, that was hired by Lehigh Fluid. So the concentrations of the 1,4-dioxane at the school have decreased significantly since last July. I'm in the process of preparing the groundwater remedial action protectiveness biennial certification form for submission to the NJDEP. Once submitted, this will become a public document that provides a status update and summary of recent activities. Lehigh Fluid Power is currently obtaining quotes from contractors to install a pump and treatment system on their property, which would capture and contain the 1,4-dioxane on the Lehigh property. This pump and treatment system will require an NJDEP approved discharge permit. We are in discussions with the NJDEP as to what type of discharge permit will be most appropriate. Once the application for the permit is made, the DEP review time for the permit approval could be up to 3 months. Please do not hesitate to contact us with any other questions. And there is a link here which shows you some of the results from, and it's a little tough to see, but I'll kind of zoom in. You can see here, this is for the West Amwell School, and you can see back on July 16, 2024, when this first triggered, the results were about 3.17, and then the most recent testing in February was down to 0.353. So as I had mentioned this a couple times in board meetings, right now, there is no real acceptable level from the DEP because it's a fairly new chemical. We are going by the EPA number, which is 0.33, so we're still a little bit above it. And then you can see these are all just other areas and other properties. So there are some, when you see monitoring wells, that's NW, so you can see some of those. But this is kind of just a scope of where they saw the penetration of the 1,4-dioxane, some of the neighbors' houses, things along those lines. So we are trending in the right direction, although there's still work to be done, and we want to make sure, obviously, that we're zero is what we're shooting for. But I just wanted to give everybody an update, kind of where things stand, and then that kind of plays right into, if you remember last month at our meeting, we talked a little bit about the sale of the West Amwell building, kind of our next steps. Full disclosure, we're going to be talking more about the legal side of it in executive session tonight. But we have been working with a commercial broker. And we spent a lot of time giving them every piece of information related to the school, and especially related to this particular issue. And this is the most recent communication that we received from them. As you know, the presence of the 1,4-dioxane and the active remediation effort currently underway are significant factors that impact marketability. With that in mind, we first evaluated the site as if environmental issues were resolved to establish a baseline value. Based on recent comparable sales and allowable uses under the current zoning, we estimate the market value to range between 1.23 million conservatively and 1.75 million aspirationally. While it's encouraging that the 1,4-dioxane levels are declining, they remain significantly above acceptable threshold. In our experience, buyers will be overly cautious until there is a demonstrably clear path to environmental closure. Without that clarity, the buyer pool remains extremely limited, if present at all, and any offers received are likely to be heavily discounted to account for uncertainty, timeline, and potential remediation costs. Our recommendation at this time is to continue focusing on progressing the remediation environmental reporting. As the site nears closure, or at a minimum achieves a clear defined path toward, then you will be in a much stronger position to bring the property to market and achieve what we believe to be the market pricing. So the moral of the story is we need to get a better, clear idea of this remediation work and the DEP and everything else before we put it up for sale as per our commercial broker. So again, we'll be talking about that more in detail, but I just wanted to be transparent and give everyone, an update on where things stand. And then the last thing I just want to share, we've talked about the Academy, Performing Arts Academy, which we're really excited about. It's going to launch in 25 or 26, 27. And when we talk about that, if you didn't see this got launched at the Teen Arts Festival. So it's out there, right? We will be opening up applications on September 15th. Polytech will be. We've spent a lot of time next month, probably, or the month after. Curriculum will be coming to the board to be approved for this program. And it's really, really exciting that in the fall of 26, we'll be starting the Performing Arts Academy for theater, dance, and technical theater. So more to come on that, but it's out there. There's a buzz. We've already been fielding questions about it as far as what's the audition process going to look like? When can I start applying? So we're really excited about that. That's all I have for my update. Any questions? Board members, do you have any questions on the report?
And with that, we'll go to the first period of public comment. As always, we open the meeting for the public for comments. We just ask that you try to keep your comment to about 3 minutes or so, addressing the board, and make a statement on anything that interest or concern to you. With that, in public comment period is over. That's all we'd like to do. Seeing no one in the audience, do we have anything online? Okay. There will be another opportunity for public comments later in the meeting. But as I don't see anyone interested in addressing the board at this time, I'm going to close this first period of public comment, and we will go into our committee reports. So we'll start with Buildings, Grounds, Transportation, Finance, and Safety Committee. That committee did meet on May 15th, which was last Thursday. Pretty much almost all of the things that Mr. discussed in his report were the things that we talked about in the committee, including construction on the 5 acre. The construction on the 5 acre building and how that's progressing, septic system, the concrete issue at the elementary school, and the septic and water updates for the West End. We also, you'll see on the agenda this evening, under item D, we are approving a new contract for our auditor, and as well as transportation arrangements we filled out for some of our transportation needs. With that, I'm going to need a motion. Someone to make a motion for items A through M. And I'm seeking a motion for items to approve items A. So moved by Mark. Thank you. Chair simply doesn't make motions. Chair, the board members make motions. So thank you, Martha, for moving that. And now we're going to second, please.
Second.
Second by Jen. Thank you very much. So now we're open for discussion on items A through M.
One item I just wanted to highlight, is all of them. I pulled it off with letter G. We're getting, besides the LEF music technology grant, which is phenomenal, because that is going to also play directly into the technical theater aspect of our Performing Arts Academy. We are getting a significant grant from the Kiwanis Club in the amount of $20,000, which is pretty awesome. And we're going to be putting that towards our STEM program at the high school, as well as the Brandon Middle School with laser cutters. It will be investing for one free building, which we're really excited about. So thank you. One, oh, that was a huge grant.
And I would say we did discuss, as I mentioned, the concrete and replacing out the permeable concrete that we use downtown with that different form, which is a little bit more expensive. I believe it was the consensus of that committee that this was something that we want to move forward here. Anybody have any questions or comments on any of these items? Then let's vote.
Starting with Jennifer Batchler,
Yes.
Martha Dennis,
Yes.
Gina Pichetti.
Yes.
Aaron O'Leary,
Yes.
Michael Strauss,
Yes.
Ronnie Todd Marino,
Yes.
and Gallagher.
Yes. Personnel committee. That's Mrs. Pacheco.
Yes. The Personnel Committee met last week on May 14th. At that committee meeting, the superintendent advised of the personnel actions and appointments that you see on the agenda this evening. Additionally, we were advised that final interviews for the BA position were being held later last week, and that an announcement would be made at tonight's meeting. The committee was advised that an MOU had been reached with the SHREA. Additionally, we were advised that of the non-represented employee salary increases for the 25-26 school year. And finally, we talked about the current openings within the district, which currently comprise of one custodian, one CSO at St. John's for pre-K, and 2 paraprofessionals. And so with that, I'd like to move items A and B.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on items A and B?
Couple things I just wanted to say. So it's sad and happy tonight. The sad part is that you'll notice on the agenda that Mr. Harris's resignation is on the agenda. We'll be moving on into another position in another district. So as much as I'm excited about that, I'm gonna miss him. He's been here in this position, in the district longer than 4 years, but with me working kind of side by side over the last 4 years. And he's done an incredible job for us through some challenging times, and obviously during, a major part of the referendum and managing all that. So, it should be a huge credit to him with what we were able to accomplish as a district during his time, handling our finances. He's going to be an incredible BA as he moved on to the Princeton School District, and they're extremely lucky to have him. And just from a professional side and the personal side, I just want to say thanks for everything you've done. And the district, our administrative team, our staff, board, and I will miss you greatly.
Second that from the board's perspective. Fantastic to work with.
Very good.
And then with that, we also have an appointment that's on the agenda tonight, which I'm excited about. So Gina had mentioned that last week we did 2 rounds of interviews for business administrator candidates. And I'm excited to announce that Dr. Peter Lutchko, who's in the front row right there, will be joining us as our VA. And Peter has been in a data manager / special projects role. And has a wealth of experience even beyond South Hunterdon before he got here. So we're really excited to recommend him for approval this evening. And the best thing about it is that it will make the transition much easier than having someone from the outside coming in. Number one, he can begin that transition as early as tomorrow and obviously be ready to take that seat as of July 1, rather than waiting for other candidates to come. And then the other thing is that, like I had mentioned before, he brings a wealth of knowledge in a variety of different areas. So I'm excited that Andrew will have the opportunity to transition him and kind of break him in over the next couple of weeks. And then we'll be ready to rock and roll July 1st. So Peter, congratulations and welcome to the table here. Thank you. And then the last thing I'll just mention quickly is, besides all the other individuals that are on the agenda, I'm just really, really excited that we're approving and recommending for approving tonight a Spanish and a French teacher, because I was really worried about that. They're 2 very, very difficult positions. to fill. I was anticipating that we would be going late into July, looking for those positions, for the fact that we have individuals on here. And I believe one of them definitely is a former graduate of South Hunterdon. It's nice to be able to go into the end of the school year knowing that that is covered and we're in good shape with those two staff.
Very good. Any other questions or discussion on the first? Let's vote.
Martha Dennis,
Yes.
Gina Pichetti.
Yeah.
Aaron O'Leary,
Yes.
Michael Strauss,
Yes.
Jennifer Batchel,
Yes.
Ronnie Todd Marina.
Yes.
Jim Gallagher.
Yes. Curriculum and technology.
So the Curriculum and Technology Committee met on May 8th. As Mr. Suzo mentioned, we received an update that the technology would begin installation in the middle school as of today, 5/19. We also got an update from Ms. Lennon on the Performing Arts Academy Advisory Committee meeting. 4:30 was that second meeting. One of the major pieces in there was that TCNJ is going to be signing an articulation agreement with us as a secondary partner for both dance and theater. And then we would be getting materials to Polytech at the end of last week. I also kind of find it very exciting that the Polytech students and for graphic design are actually in the process of making a logo for our Performing Arts Academy, which I just love that there's kind of a educational crossover there. Ms. Lennon also talked about summer curricular writing. We are authorizing 20 hours. Actually just did authorize 20 hours for middle school target for next year. The goal is to have these written fully over the summer so that we are limiting class disruption. So we're not pulling teachers out of classes to do that. And we will be approving in the August meeting. A cool feature this year is that all coursework is going to be going directly into OnCourse, so that will be our new housing for curriculum. And over the next 5 years, so we try to do this on a 5-year cycle. Over the next 5 years, we will be getting all of our coursework into one singular database, which is a cool thing. Ms. Lennon will be working with our teachers who are writing it to train them to get it into OnCourse in June. There's a listing of all of what we're doing a little bit later on in our minutes. We also discussed our program of studies, which I will be moving to have approved by the full board. So the middle school program of studies is going to be focusing on 5 and 6 being exploratory versus elective in 7 and 8. So it's a true middle school curriculum. And there's a few small minor changes in the way that social studies and science are going to be carried out, and because of that. We also are going to talk about Foundations 3. It was very near and dear because we'd be putting in cursive writing will be included in Foundations 3rd grade starting for next year. And we talked about the homework policy one last time in the curriculum committee. And I am very happily handing it over to Martha after this. And we will be making that reference over so that the policy committee can handle it from here on out. With that, I would like to move item B, the program of studies.
So move. Could I have a second? Second by Ron. Any discussion on item B? No discussion? Thank you. Let's vote.
Gina Pichetti,
Yes.
Aaron O'Leary,
Yes.
Michael Strauss,
Yes.
Jennifer Batchel,
Yes.
Martha Dennis,
Yes.
Ronnie Todd Marina.
Yes.
Jim Gallagher.
Yes. Policy committee.
Policy, we met on May 5th. We have 2 items for first read, which is policy 5460 on high school graduation, and also policy 5512, which is updates to our HIB policy. Both of these are mandated revisions. The first one includes a new graduation requirement. So for 25, 26, 27, there is now a requirement that students and parents or guardians complete a financial aid application as a requirement of prerequisite for graduation. This is consistent with the board's obligation to implement graduation requirements that prepare students for success in post-secondary degree programs, career, otherwise, and the inclusion of that financial obligation and access to financial aid is part of that. So that change is included in section D. Counseling is confirming that they're ready for this. They're also removed the provisions in the graduation requirements for 2018 through 2022 that are no longer relevant. So those are being eliminated. And we included the section that we'll be adding seal of biliteracy to student diplomas as applicable. For the HIB policy, the Uniform State Memorandum of Agreement between Education and Law Enforcement includes a section that gives guidance on the rules when student conduct is being investigated both by law enforcement as well as a violation of the criminal code, as well as school as a violation of the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. So the policy has been updated to include that detail and requirements for notifying parents and guardians and the procedural guidance when the school may need to have a stay or a pause in their HIB investigation while the law enforcement process and investigation is being carried out. So those revisions are in section O under reports for law enforcement. We are also making changes in section A to be consistent with a prior policy change and replacing natural parent with biological parent and replacing parental rights with legal authority. And for our second read, we have policy 8500 on food service. This was a change in language as a result of federal Working Class Families and Anti-Hunger Act. It's primarily new terminology and also some changes to income eligibility for students who qualify for free meals and some additional parental notification. Also, it was noticed that the acronyms that were used in the policy for the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the New Jersey Department of Agriculture were incorrect, and those have been updated to be correct. I would like to move the two items for first read to second read. I do note for the board that these are very long policies, and if there are any items that we would like to review and change, please go ahead and read those early because they are very lengthy, and then let me know and we'll take it to our next meeting and then move our second read on food service to
Okay, so I'm hearing a motion to approve items A and B.
correct.
And
Second.
second by Ms. O'Leary, thank you. Any discussion on the policy? And remember, the first three policies, once we approve them, we still have the opportunity to be online. And now have your opportunity to take a fair look at those and suggest any changes. But if I don't see anybody interested in going any further, then let's go ahead and vote.
Aaron O'Leary,
Yes.
Michael Strauss.
Yes.
Jennifer Batchelor,
Yes.
Martha Dennis.
Yes.
Gina Pichetti,
Yes.
Bonnie Todd Marino.
Yes.
Jim Gallagher.
Yes.
All right, school and community met on May 13th. As Tony mentioned, we discussed the ribbon cutting for the middle school. Hopefully, looking at the first week in August for the event. We also talked about the Performing Arts Academy and the way that the Polytech has launched the marketing campaign for that. And that we're looking at potentially some other activities, including an audition boot camp and maybe even a summer performing arts camp here at South. But those are things that are very much pending and in the works. And then we also talked about, while we're marketing the Performing Arts Academy, we also talked about how student retention is important when we have youth in middle school who are considering whether or not to come to attend high school at South. And what are we doing to really help educate the students and families on what are the benefits of attending South. And we have had an informational video put together by students where students talked about the benefits that they've experienced. So we're considering expanding upon that and really giving an opportunity for people to learn more about what do you get when in a small school. There's a lot of advantages that we can highlight. We also talked about the homework regulation, as everybody has, and a supporting FAQ for that. So that really would support the rollout at the beginning of next school year, helping parents understand their role within the homework regulation and how to best support students with that. And we reviewed a draft of an article for upcoming publication about the after-school enrichment program. And that was it. Nothing to move.
Any discussion on the school community item? I would just say, snippet of Mr. Bell talking about the impact of the work hard of his time. Something that goes really well. Take out that. Okay, we do have a need to vote on accepting a harassment, intimidation, bullying report. This is the report that we discussed in the executive session at the end of last month's meeting. So we will need a motion and a second to vote on that. So moved by Ronnie, thank you very much. And a second. Second. Second by Jen, thank you. Any discussion on that? Understanding that we're limiting what we can actually say. Very well, please vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? The fire drills and safety drills were held on the dates of the agenda, and we're also fine. Enrollment report.
Yep, it's our normal monthly enrollment board as of last week, for seeing where we are in grade level.
Okay, with that, we come to the second period of public comment. Same rules as the first. If anyone has something to like to bring before the board, we encourage you to do so. Period of public comment is now open. Anyone have anything they'd like to bring before the board? Well, this is anything online? No. Okay. So with that, then, here's the, no one has anything to bring before the board, so we'll close the second period of public comment. The board does have a need to go into executive session this evening, for the purpose of discussing, HIV as well as other matters. There will be no action taken after we come out of that executive session. I anticipate that will probably take a 25 minutes. You're welcome to stay here, but you're going to be in that room. With that, we will take I'll need a motion to go into executive session at 8:03 p.m.
So moved.
So moved by Aaron, thank you, and second. Second by Ron, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will take a 5-minute